Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
All right, we are back for this week. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. We've got a dynamite show. What we're going to do right now is plug in our intro video. That way you can like, share, and comment. This is the CSRN podcast, a weekend review. We'll be right back.
I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare. Now, the other thing that we've got to come to see now that many of us didn't see too well during the last 10 years, that is that racism
not guilty
is still alive in American society and much more widespread.
Broke his neck after Baltimore police.
A handful of protesters, a handful of criminals and thugs who...
Many in moments of anger, many in moments of deep bitterness, engage in riots. And as long as America postpones justice, we stand in the position of having these recurrences of violence and riots over and over again. Social justice and progress are the absolute guarantors of riot prevention.
Mr. Gray's death was a homicide.
The Negro was freed from the bondage of physical slavery.
The athletes marched onto a stage.
But at the same time, the nation refused to give him land to make that freedom meaningful. Freedom without land to cultivate. Freedom and famine at the same time.
And create jobs for our people.
The Negro is to be free. He must move down into the inner resources of his own soul and sign with a pen and ink of self-assertive manhood his own Emancipation Proclamation. But I want to get the language right tonight. I want to get the language so right that everybody here will cry out, yes, I'm black, I'm proud of it, I'm black and beautiful. Individually, we are poor when you compare us with white society in America. We are poor. Collectively, we are richer than all the nations in the world with the exception of 9. That's power right there if we know how to prove it. We begin the process of building a greater economic base. And at the same time, we are putting pressure where it really hurts. We don't have to argue with anybody. We just need to go around to these stores and to these massive industries in our country. Say, God sent us by here to say to you that you're not treating his children right. We come by here to ask you to make the first item on your agenda fair treatment where God's children are concerned. Now, if you're not prepared to do that, we do have an agenda that we must follow. Our agenda calls for withdrawing economic support from you.
We mean business now, and we are determined to gain our rightful place in God's world.
Well, we come to you live from, where's my hat? We'll come to you live from Mott Brent's Library, and we'll talk about the things that we've done last week, some of the things that we're working on right now, and a few things that we got coming up in the future, really talking about the city council forum that we're planning for either, it's got to be early.
Late September, early October.
All right. So look out for that. Let's get into some intros. I'm Brother Washington Muhammad. I'm one of the co-founders of CSRN, also an active and registered member of the Nation of Islam here in Toledo. And what am I wearing today? Let me move this. I wish they could move that that display thing. All right, there you go. Let's move my computer a bit. Today I've got on my blue hat. I've got on my Buy Black t-shirt because it's Black August. We're going to be talking about what Black August means and how long that we've been acknowledging that. I've got my beads on and I've got my glasses on from Optical Twixt Between. Check out my sister, Kristen Moncrief. She's located at the corners of Franklin and Bancroft, or you can see her with the optical van. And as always, I'm dedicated to respecting, protecting, and defending all Black bodies, no matter the cost, no matter the gains or loss. This is the home of Black Lives Matter and Justice or Else. And we're doing this for the protest community and activist culture, where we create our own platform to get on, talk about some of the things that matter to us without someone vetting what we're going to say or asking for permission to meet with Jody. So, and that's what we're in our going on our 11th year at CSRN, maybe 5 or 6 years doing the podcast type thing. Yep. And I don't see there's no indication that it's going to stop. So, hey, thanks for joining us. And if you're in the comments, shoot us a what's up in the comments. Let us know that you're watching. I think that I'm done with my intros. Jody, if you could give your intro, what you're wearing, we'll take a short break and come back with some Black Lives Matter moments.
Awesome. What's up, everybody? Jody J. Summers, child of the system, better known as Spoken Truth, the treasurer of this wonderful organization, who thanks you each and every week for coming and sitting with us for an hour, whether we have guests or today is a no guest show, because you know that whole thing about self-care, and if you're always doing stuff for everything and everybody, you never get a chance to rest for a moment.
That's right.
So this, in a way, out of 48, maybe 50 shows a year, this is a chance for us to rest. We don't have to interview people. We can talk to you. We can actually get a chance to tell you about our Black Lives Matter moments, of why we've been able to, produce this show literally for the last almost 6 years, or even be a organization for 11, versus always, I like the aspect of being able to interview people in my community where we live and that actually have an impact on us, versus dealing with what person that went to some island out somewhere to talk to his friend about who has better prison encampments. Stuff like that. And,
all right. Okay. I get it.
The fear mongering of whatever the rest of the world is doing. In between my time, just for a little snippet of when I'm not at work or doing a board thing or political thing or activist thing or art thing or book thing or performance thing, I like to doom scroll and see society for kind of what it is. I don't really have a genre or movie or something I particularly like. I like to see all of humanity, to be able to judge people based on what they put out into the world. And a lot of us now are putting things out into the world.
Yeah, that's right.
We wouldn't have, but that's your credential. That's your credit card now. That's who you are as an identity or as a person, at least from what I could tell. I don't watch a lot of joke or stuff show, because then eventually they get into sarcasm and start attacking people for not understanding their humor. So I try and watch people where they are, what's really going on. When I do politics and stuff, it's local.
Okay.
I will pull up on you and say, hey, I actually saw Lisa Zobecki downtown coming from the zoo there. So there's probably, or not downtown technically, but coming from the zoo on my way here. So there's probably a press conference or something over there, but that's their life. A lot of people don't see that. Like, I hold many hats, but I know when to be in particular of that hat and not be like, oh, guess what they're doing for this information? Nobody asked you that I'm going to give it away. Anyway, we thank you for coming each and every week. We describe ourselves because we want you to know that all these protests and these posters and stuff like that, we lived it. We didn't go out there just to get a camera and say something and say, I'm going to be there. We lived it. We got pepper sprayed and mace. We did town halls and all the stuff. We're about to do another community town hall.
Right.
And I like that is part of my history, not something people will read about us, which is very interesting and on so many different levels. But yes, people will read about us and the things that we did here in our community when it was time, when it was not too late, when it was not affecting you because you thought it was going to affect us.
That's right. That's right. Yep. Too late now.
Yeah, it's a little bit too late. We see it unfold on our screens every day. We hear it from our children who are now dressed up as blank men.
Yeah.
With capes and leaving out the house with blankets because the world doesn't feel secure. Stop going off on my rant. But I am a big brown bear of a man that is covered in tattoos and crystals and stones and bones and artifacts from living this life, from taking the sacrifice of facing all my fears and doing everything people told me I couldn't. Now I'm in the phase of my life where I don't care if you thought I could or could not, because as a quote that I heard that I'm paraphrasing heavily is, even if you're showing off for your enemies or people that doubted you, you are still using some form of people pleasing.
Right.
And I people pleased a lot in the beginning because I did not know where I was supposed to fit in. So now I don't. The shirt that I'm wearing is a decade old.
Yeah, channel your energy.
When the Nazis, the Nazis or neo-Nazis, however you want to classify them, came back to Toledo for the second time because the first time we had riots.
That's
we decided to do something different. I believe that is on the board here somewhere.
It's one of them. It's one of them, probably.
Yeah, it's way over there. You can't really see it, but that's okay.
All right.
It's this board over here.
Oh, yeah.
My left, you guys is right. But yeah, even back then, I didn't really get in front of the camera. You were hard pressed to find a picture of me at that event because I was in the background taking pictures. True. That's what I did until I learned I had to step into the front to be my brain, to be the voice of me. Because now I got grandchildren. It's a child, just one right now. But to think about and to know that I will have made an impact in his life by the things that I did, not by the people I copied, is amazing. The hat that I wear is mine. And I thank you again for being here in each and every week. We, at this time, would go through our affirmations and how our board got to this point, how we assimilated or connected with people from outside organizations like Cleveland and DC and New York and Texas and Philadelphia when they were going through some of their worst times to get here. But we're going to take a commercial break so we can get our list of, I guess what you would call our walls and foundation.
Yeah, right. So, I think we can get right into our, where's your stuff?
Yeah, so we're going to take a quick commercial break.
Oh, yeah.
So we get that stuff out and then kind of give you an idea of what it takes to get through this part. Because over the years, people will come at you. They will try and decide that the way you tie your shoes is not how they tie their shoes, and you should try theirs. And then along the lines, you'll forget how you used to tie your own shoes yourself. Analogies.
Okay. All right. Hey, listen, we're going to take a short break and come back. This is the CSRN podcast, a weekend review. We'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Dr. P. Not only am I a leadership coach, I'm a change agent and I'm a race scholar. I've used my study of race to dismantle systems and organizations, but I also use that to help you as the individual become a better leader for your families and for your community.
right, we are back. This is the CSRN podcast, our week in review. Family, this is live. All right, so we don't get an opportunity to go into the cutting room and do some edits. That might be a good idea later on. All right. But what we wanted to do is really talk about the foundation of CSRN. You know, how did it start? What is it that we do to keep things moving? So let's put up our mission statement.
Yep. Which is like the walls and foundation when outsiders or others try and come in and improve what you've already built on.
Right.
Because there'll be plenty of those. If you got a good thing going, there's always somebody with a screw ready to sink your ship, even if they drown with you.
All right.
So this is how we got through the past almost 11 years without breaking, without missing a stride in our steps. Even
That's
if
right.
we do collaborate and help other organizations, we always remember where home is at. So our over the woods and through the forest to grandmother's house we go.
That's right.
We are the Community Solidarity Response Network of Toledo, formed on November 25th, 2014, the day after it was announced that the killer, a Ferguson, Missouri police officer of Michael Brown, an unarmed teenager, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to the injustices experienced by Black men, women, and children who are disproportionately murdered, provoked, attacked, and harassed by law enforcement. Police brutality has to end. We bring awareness to the fact that most often, yes, most often, police brutality goes without consequence and accountability. Police impunity has to end. We utilize the tactics of protest, civil disobedience, event disruption, and citizen advocacy to give voice to those who are otherwise voiceless. We facilitate progressive, community-based events that help foster self-development, and we discuss measures to hold local leadership accountable to their sworn duties, be they politician, clergy, law enforcement, educators, etc., etc. We want justice, equal justice under the law. We want justice applied equally to all, yes, all, regardless of class, creed, or color. For all lives to matter, Black lives, yes, Black lives must matter. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
And you know, I think it's important when you have a Black grassroots organization or movement like CSRN, that we already have something in place so that if anybody wants to help, you already know the guidelines, what we're working with. So it's not something that that's going to change and be the exact opposite next year. It's not some type of chameleon,
this is the
type
Constitution.
thing.
You're about to come in and make amendments on behalf of you. This is,
right,
rules.
Right. And these are the guiding principles. Even though we have a mission statement and different, many different activists are a part of this, we still need something to hold this all together.
These are the ones that you can make amendments to, as we've done over the years.
Absolutely. These are our guiding principles. All Black lives matter, queer Black lives, trans Black lives, formerly and presently incarcerated Black lives, poor working class Black lives, wealthy Black lives, differently abled Black lives, Black men and women lives, immigrant Black lives, Black elderly and children lives. All Black lives matter and are the creators of this space. We throw no one under the bus. We rise together. Ashe.
Ashe.
And that means one who changes a thing or one who makes a thing happen. Thriving instead of surviving. Our vision is based on the world we want, not the one we're currently in. We seek to transform, not simply react. We want our people to thrive, not just exist. Think beyond the possible. Ashe.
Ashe.
Experimentation and innovation must be built into our work. Embrace the best tools, practices, and tactics, and leave those behind that no longer serve us. Ashe.
Ashe.
Evaluation and assessment must be built into our culture. Critical reflection must be a part of all of our work. We learn from our mistakes and our victories. Ashe.
Ashe.
Principal struggle can exist in a positive environment. We must be honest with one another by embracing direct, loving communication. Ashe?
Ashe.
Love, self-love is practiced in everything that we do. Love and self-love must be a driver of our work and an indicator of our success. Without this principle and without healing, we will harm each other and undermine our movement. Ashe?
Ashe.
360-degree vision. We honor past struggles and wisdom from elders. The work we do today builds the foundations of movements of tomorrow. We consider our mark on future generations. Ashe?
Ashe.
Self-care means we build resilient spaces by budgeting time, energy, and resources for healing. Self-care is a regular, consistent, intentional, and essential practice. Ashe?
Ashe.
The most directly affected people are experts at their own lives and should be in leadership at the center of our movement and telling their stories directly. Ashe?
Ashe.
Training and leadership development should be fundamental. Our movement must constantly grow and leadership must constantly multiply. Ashe.
Ashe.
You know, I wanted to start today off, even with us having it on our beat camera. If you notice during our opening, it has CSRN, Week in Review, the Black August report. And I like to just talk about, you know, just what that means. Let's put this this artwork here regarding Black August and just talk a minute about this. Black August began in the 1970s to mark the assassination of the imprisoned Black Panther author and revolutionary George Jackson during the prison rebellion. This was in California. In this time of reverence to honor political prisoners, freedom fighters, and martyrs of the Black freedom struggle, this month we celebrate all political prisoners who have helped us understand that prison is political and our collective freedom depends on abolishing the state's capacity through incarceration, policing, and surveillance to disrupt communities and diminish principal struggle against an unjust status quo. The month of August is rich with the history of Black people and the Black resistance outside, the Haitian Revolution, the Watts Rebellion, the Ferguson Uprising, and for Toledo, the May 2020 CSRN-led Toledo Police Accountability Rally. Black August is a reminder of the struggle and unity and a mandate for continued joint struggle. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love each other and protect each other. We have nothing to lose but our chains. So all this month, we'll highlight our brothers and sisters who are confined citizens. We'll highlight some of the things that our imprisoned community has done to help us in this struggle. Even behind bars, we receive help from those who are incarcerated to help us understand what's happening behind prison walls so that we can advocate. So be it the will of the universe, next week we're gonna present a brother that had spent more than maybe 15 years incarcerated in Supermax in Colorado, and now he is a thriving member of our activist community all the way in Florida. So hopefully we'll have our brother Omar Gent from freeourbrothers.com to come and talk about not only the incarceration part, but also being able to be released, be productive, and still keep up the fight. So that's one of the things that I wanted to highlight, Jody. Is there something that you needed to highlight right now? I wanted to get back to, hopefully soon, the Black Men's Wellness Day that went down. That was this past Saturday right there at Scott High School.
The fact that out of all the organizations, all the years that I've been involved in the movement and stuff, we're the only ones to individually, without sponsorships, without begging or pandering to any political party or, I guess, nonprofit group, throw on award shows and scholarships.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of organizations could not take the rage of anger and stuff to do more positive than some things in their community.
Yeah.
We gave people an award. We said, we feel we are unseen in this area and there's nobody else going to do it for us. So instead of fundraising for an office, we will fundraise for a community member.
That's right.
So that's.
Man, I was just going through something today. Oh yeah, setting up for the podcast. There's a software that I go through, and I happened upon this document that was from our Black Lives Matter Awards when we did a virtual.
Yeah.
So I'm digging through I'm digging through the crates. All right, and I happened upon that, man, and. So all of those, I think Sonia Ramel was one of the virtual recipients, and there was a few others. Man, I can't go over all of those. So yeah, that is true that we take it upon ourselves to make the corrections to what other people might think our former slave masters and their children should do. Well, let's have our own awards program or a ceremony and event. If the newspaper or the television station is slow to have a political forum in our community, well, how about we do that? And so many other things that I believe that
the movie nights,
Black Lives Matter Theater,
exactly, they're now popular. Now we went outside right there, Junction Park, and built our own.
That's right.
Stuff like that is stuff you can only get in grassroots. You can't pay nobody or sponsor nobody or boost because it'd be a one-time event. At least ours is a continuing cycle of what our organization is. It's not going to be an award every year. It's not going to be a scholarship every year. It might look like paying for this kid to have gas in his lawnmower.
Yeah,
because he was doing something good in the community.
That's right. That's right. So in saying that, for the people that are doing something in the community, I want to just highlight, well, we are into that political season, but I want to highlight some of the people that I know that were putting the work in even before they decided to run for office. Dr. Brittany Jones just had the babies, all right? So she won. She had all the babies, all right? So she's running for city council at large. Cassandra McPherson. I'm mentioning her because when we had our first, I don't want to call it a protest, but we had our first news conference regarding the South Side right there at Conrad's car wash.
Yeah, she came out.
She was one of the city council members, and anytime you show up for something that we did, hey, you doing something, all right? Because this work is difficult. It's not for the faint of heart. So shout out to our sister McPherson, Councilperson McPherson. We had Rob Pasker come by. Yep. He's campaigning for the city council. I think that's at large.
Yep, everyone is at large next year for numbers.
All right, and we had Blair Johnson. He even has no spins, just solutions. So, all right, Blair. All right. So he had come by. So a big shout out to all of the younger people that are being a part of the process now. Yeah. Hey, Miss McPherson, you are one of the youngest too. All right. But yeah, just shout out to everybody that's not only sounding the alarm, but they're being the first to
first
come up.
Responders.
Yeah, also too. So
let's get burnt, but that is the beauty of civil work too. I consider somebody's, I guess, strength in the city. I'm looking for a different word, by what they've done in the nonprofit grassroots realm.
Yeah.
When they're not only willing just to show up for the big investors or the ambassadors, but to show up to the neighborhood community grassroots thing at the park, which, might have a couple coolers and some water bottles and
not burgers. Too many people.
Right.
Can you show up for that?
People.
Right.
So can you actually walk through the community without anybody? I see now more and more, Marcy, that's becoming more difficult for them to do because we don't believe them anymore. We've never seen you before and only see you when you want our vote.
That's true. Okay. I'm like, tell us how you really feel. So in talking about the activism, how do you, because I'm just dealing with the artist part. You're author, spoken word, actor, all right, and so many other things. So how do you blend that thing with art? And also the illustrator. I forgot the illustrator. All right. So and a chef.
And the gardener.
Right. How do you balance the art part and have that blend in with the activist work and movement work?
Now, as a decade has went by and I've evolved a bit, I take breaks. Before, it was just give me this to keep me distracted. Give me this because if I sit and think about whatever office or hat that I'm wearing for too long, it becomes depressing. And that is the life of somebody that does something. Even though you think it's great and you see us go on trips and do all this stuff, it's depressing because it separates you from what everybody else is doing. Some people can't go. Most don't need to go. And then you're always on the run trying to, the last thing you did, what do you have next?
Wow.
We know you just gave away 1,000 book bags. What you got next? And it's like, I just, like, we're here at the event. We're at book bag number 50 and you're asking me what I got next. I need to get rid of this and take care of these people and show them the attention and time for actually coming. So before it was just move to the next thing before I had time to assimilate what I had just done. Now I smell the roses a lot more. I don't write as much because it's not needed. I wrote, I would say probably an equivalent of my 10 years. I've written about 15 books. I've published 4 and done anthologies and stuff, which brings my publication amount up to like 26, 27. And then again, I've published 4 out of those 15 that I've written. So now I have time to sit down, look at all this stuff from like 10 years ago and organize it better. Or I just sit at home and unfortunately doom scroll. I get a chance to see what the rest of the world is doing, what excites them. Because for that, you're always on the road. Just actually today was my doctor's appointment. I go see my doctor faithfully every 3 to 6 months, depending on how my schedule lines up with it. The last time I was in Paris, I couldn't do that. And the time before that, I just started a new job, so I couldn't do that. But he saw me this time and he was like, I still can't give you no medications. And I'm like, nope. And your weight went down and you're even less at risk for blood pressure. Like, can we give you something?
Yeah.
Just my refills, sir. Just my refills. But I get that. And then also I'm getting older, so I have to realize that life on the road, because I've been on the road my entire life, whether even when I was homeless and that decade you can't really find my name, I was on the road doing carnival stuff, day labor stuff, and my diet was horrible. Still is horrible. But I've learned to adjust, to take time, to sit. I fast for Ramadan along with Brother Washington.
That's right.
This year, I think I went through 2 weeks before I broke.
Sir. You sure did.
And then I started back again. But, stuff like that, I walk everywhere. People see the staff and they're like, oh, that's an awesome stick. And it's like, no, this thing, I literally have rubbers from the bottom of it that come off after about 1,000 or so miles, maybe a couple thousand miles that I have stacked in my house. So I can remember this journey, that journey, and it makes me appreciate things a lot more than having to be in competition with anything. I'm also learning to step back from the field that I kind of created myself, because now there are people that saw me when they were younger and I'm their mountain. And I'm like, no, I don't want to be your mountain. I know you, I want you, to be great, to be honest. And a friend of mine was telling me that that's kind of like the mean nice, because that they're talking about you when they say they want to be the best, or doesn't matter how many pieces you do or stuff like that. But me in my brain, I'm never going to acknowledge that. We're never my competition. I'm not, anybody else is not my competition. It was me, myself. I had to defeat myself. I had to find out what the parts of me that didn't like myself, and I did. And now I'm good. I can be like, I don't have to be to this thing every weekend. I did it here at this event, and that was good enough. I want to spend time with my family or spend time by myself. A lot of people cannot spend time by themselves because, again, you get that depression of what am I going to do next? What is my routine? When the world shut down and stuff, a lot of people lost their routines and found new ones. I can say out of my friend circles and groups now, a lot of people found better than what they were already in just circling. So now I'm kind of figuring it out. Figuring out that I don't have to be at every rave or at every event or every studio party. I don't have to be the person at the ribbon cutting just because I know the person cutting the ribbon. It's like I'm good.
Yeah, and it's not easy to do once you get used to that.
It's boring.
Right. I didn't want to say it like that, but you got to reel it in if you want to do this type of work. And if you see someone like Jody or myself, if it appears that if you saw us in our stage when we were everywhere, we were just in our gift. Nobody was paying any of us to be there like that. I wasn't doing it on behalf of anything. This was just something that I wanted to do. So I wanted to be involved. If it was a NAACP meeting, I wanted to be involved in that. If it was a levy, something dealing with the levy, I wanted to be involved with that. If it was something dealing with stopping the violence, if that was not only gun violence, but intimate partner violence, I just wanted to be a part of that. So now we're actually a part of it when we can talk about the places that we've been. We talk about some of the things that other people are doing and letting people know that, no, it's more than just CSRN. There's a lot of people really putting in a lot of good work, right now. And this podcast allows us to be able to share that, not only about what we're doing, what Junction Coalition is doing. I think we've got we have one of those placards that we're going to put up. If you see Junction Family Pharmacy in the lower right-hand corner, we also have, I think I've got one with the Junction Coalition. We'll put that up to let everybody know that in doing this work, we're supporting everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just CSRN stuff that we support. No, it's everybody that's doing the work. Yeah, there's the Junction Coalition. So
it's like a NASCAR. We got everybody on us that is within our community, and nobody's bigger than the other. It's all working together.
Right, and really, it's a clinic in what freedom look like. So yes, I when I open up, I say that I'm one of the co-founders and also an active and registered member of the Nation of Islam. All right, so that's a significant part of our community, but there's other people that we work with too. And to be able to show that, not just show what I'm into, and I don't want to talk about what Jody's into. I don't want to talk about what Alicia's into. I just want to talk about me. Well, after a while that can get tired. And also it seems a little bit self-centered too, that the only thing I want to talk about is myself. And that's what CSRN was able to do, was really break through all of that type of stuff, to have Black Lives Matter signs, to have the red, black, and green flag of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, and have the Justice or Else, man, when it comes to Black thought and Black thinking, I really believe that we may not have it all, but it's really close. All right.
Yeah.
It's really close. It's really close.
We attempted to be the Superman of our community.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also understanding in some situations, whether it be grassroots or not, that me being there or my voice isn't going to make your presence louder or bigger. I'm just there to work with you.
Right.
I'm not there to overshadow you or outshine you or something like that. And meeting all of these people kind of evolved us into that. We have more organizations that we worked with beside more than our backdrop back here that may look like something odd if you don't see it at first glance, but that's kind of what our goal was.
That's right. That's right. All right. So what I want to do now, I want to transition to, I'm trying to find all of my bells and whistles. I want to transition to the Black Men's Wellness Day. And before I do that, I want to go to a short commercial. This is Brothers and Sisters United. And the sister that heads up that organization she's Avis Files. And we're going to show this short clip and then come back, talk about Men's Wellness Day, and then get into some updates to talk about some of the things that are coming up in the community that we think you should check out. So this is the CSRN podcast, our week in review. We'll be right back.
Pathway Incorporated Brothers United program believes that children are important. Every day we support and advocate for fathers because when children have involved fathers, the whole community thrives. The fathers that come into the Brothers United program are mostly young fathers who are primarily gang members or drug dealers or those involved in lots of trauma from the time when they were youth until now. The program has fatherhood classes which teach you about your role as a father, the importance of being a father, healthy relationships, how to co-parent and work better together with your co-parent, and then economic stability, how to get a job, how to keep a job. It is so important for fathers to learn to take care of their children holistically, not just emotionally, not just physically, but financially as well, because children need a holistic approach.
I really just needed help with really being a better father and looking for a job to be able to support my kids.
Some of the problems I was facing when I joined Brothers United was communication with my children. Had some time apart from each other for a while, so they gave me the tools to really get back in communication with them.
Fathers will come into our program with their heads down. 2 weeks later, their heads are up. 3 weeks later, they're laughing and talking. 4 weeks later, they're building a bond. And by the time we get to 8 weeks, they're saying, hey, we want to stay here. What can we do to stay connected?
It gave me a better perspective on how to look at things from other people's point of view. You know, sometimes us as men, we get caught up in being prideful and arrogant, thinking we don't need the help. We do. And we just have to put our pride, selfishness, and arrogance to the side. And when the help is there, take it.
Hope plays the most important role in everything that we do because we have to have hope. We have to remember that fathers are important, and we have to not only say it, but we have to live it, we have to breathe it, we have to do it, we have to convey it to everyone.
Let's get a BU Nation on 3, fellas. 1, 2, 3. BU Nation!
The dads give us hope. The dads supply for us on the days when it gets hard. On the days when we've seen more violence than we ever want to see. On the days when we've lost some dads to jail or to murder, they give us hope. And so the hope that lives can change, if you invest in them, if you believe in them, then lives can change.
Brothers United changed my life, let's say, because of where I come from, what I've been through. I learned to understand it is help out there. Don't be scared to ask for it. If you don't reach, you can't grab. That's it.
They made me more employable, more desirable by employers, which in turn helped me provide for my family and provide for my children and my grandchild. So it makes me a better man, a better father, and a better example.
It showed me like how to be better to my kids, so I went and got custody of my son. My son been with me for a couple months now. So this showed me how to be a better parent all around, just a better man, period.
Initially, I didn't know that it could change men's lives. I didn't know that fathers could change. But it's amazing to me when fathers come back a year later, 2 years later, and tell us thank you. Or they'll make a Facebook post and say, look at what I'm doing now. It's amazing to me about the level of work that we've been able to do and the lives that we've changed in just a short period of time. And the fathers who come back and say, thank you, I needed you, and you were there.
And shout out to Brothers United, man. Be you.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN podcast, a weekend review. Big shout out to Mott Branch Library. Every week they roll out the red, black, and green carpet for us. We have a awesome studio that we put together and take down. So maybe
each and every week
we set it up, take it down, and all the stuff is ours. So, nobody's keeping our stuff at the end of the day.
No locked doors.
No, right. We don't have to worry about that. And what you're seeing also are tax dollars at work. All right, we vote for the levies, and we should have an opportunity to utilize that. All right, what I wanted to show right now, let me make sure I get the right, let's see, do I have the right thing? Oh yeah, okay. I wanted to talk about the Black Men's Wellness Day. That was Saturday, August 16th. And this year was a bit different because instead of having everything, from what I saw, instead of having everything in the parking lot, they had everything on Collingwood, which was the main street. So shout out to everybody that organized that and put it together. And I wanted to list some Black men's health stats and some of the systemic factors contributing to the health disparities. There's the socioeconomic, there's the dietary intervention. No. I was looking at something, Jody, and then all of a sudden, the scroll guide. Yeah, some of the frequently asked questions regarding Black men's health. Man, the scroll guide got me good. I had no idea. It was like, I feel like saying something that Dave Chappelle said, but they got me. All right, but what are some health facts about Black men? Black men in the United States face health disparities. They're in increased risk of obesity, diabetes, hypertension. Black men die from prostate cancer and heart disease. More Black men die from prostate cancer and heart disease. Inequities originate from the socioeconomic factors that systematic racism and healthcare access. What diseases affect Black men? We talked about prostate cancer. Black men, they have a higher prostate cancer risk than others. Black males also had a higher risk of advanced cancer, which affects outcome. Black men need regular testing. We do, and I'm looking in the mirror when I say this, and early discovery to manage this condition. I want to read a couple others. The life expectancy of Black men, and all this is from, if you could log on to the Black Barbershop. I was looking at some different stats, but I want to get my stats from sites that I know cater to us. So the Black Barbershop app, I'm not going to share it because I want to look like I know what I'm talking about without anybody else seeing the answers. All right. What is the life expectancy of Black men? It says here through their study that Black men in the U.S. live less than other populations, high chronic illness rates, low healthcare access, and socioeconomic inequality and social detriments of health like poverty and discrimination impact that gap. And lastly, what are the health risks of African Americans? African Americans or Black people face health hazards from structural inequality and socioeconomic factors. Obesity, diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, and cancer are the common in this group. Poor health care, socioeconomic factors, discrimination, environmental causes, and other disparities. What does this mean, family? We've got to start looking within. I think there's a lot of conspicuous consumption. That's when we wear everything that we own. We're either driving it or have it on our wrists. It's time for us to really start looking at our health, look at the things that we eat and how much of it and what time. There's a really great book. It was by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad called How to Eat to Live. And it would be a really good look to pick up that book and just learn the basics, because some of us are still participating in the slave diet. All right. They so-called freed us, but we could also be freed from the diet that we were on during the Holocaust of slavery. So once again, shout out to the Black Men's Wellness Day. That was August 16th, Jessup W. Scott High School. So I think that's what I wanted to mention that. I got a couple other things coming up later, but we are really short on time, and it was just us. So let's flow to some of the updates, some of the things that you seen that's happening in the community, and some of the things that you may have been involved in. What are some of those that you like to share?
Well, I'll always take it back to what was going on, because as most people know by now, hopefully, if it's a thing on Tuesday, I will not be there. I'm sorry. It's just, the way it's been for the last 11 years, unless like back in our meeting days, we ended the meeting early, or we could end the show early, then I could maybe work something out. But for me, Tuesday has been taken because I believe in this with the passion so much, you can't pay me to do anything else. So even in my actor, poetry and illustrative and all the other art creative stuff, Tuesdays bookings are pretty much out the way unless it's before the morning. I've done Sylvia's show, shout out to you. And that's a morning show, but in the afternoon is like, you can either do it before 5 or after 8. Those even at work, although sometimes, it was necessary during baseball season. And that's just when I took my lunch. They knew that if they booked me on a Tuesday.
Oh yeah, you would come out in the alley.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right.
Alley on live or in the back room.
A bad brother.
Nobody. So that's how much you got to believe in some things to make it work too. So going back to last Tuesday, there was the open mic, the listening room at Handmade Toledo, 1717 Adams. That starts at 5:30. And I believe that is going to be a second Tuesday thing.
Okay.
From what I've been hearing in my sources and stuff. So every second Tuesday, you can go to the Handmade Toledo where they're starting up their own open mic. There was also screen printing and community building with Juke Mode and one of the books that I'm in, Swell Magazine. Make sure you go check that out. There's a whole bunch of great people over there. I believe we are getting ready to throw out submissions or stuff for issue 2, which I'll be a part of. I can't tell you names or any more details than that, but follow Emily Allison and all of the editors and creators and stuff like that to get updates and when the opening registration will be open for you to be in the next Swell Magazine.
All right.
Look forward to reading your work. Wednesday, August 13th, there was the Rally in the Alley at Ostrich Town. That is right there across from Birth Maze, where that lion mural and stuff like that. Also in the area of Toledo Spirits and Toll House, same kind of like block area and stuff like that. I'm Vistula.
Okay.
So I'm historic Vistula board. So even over on this side of the water, I got some boards and some stuff. So we're working out some things for our jazz festival probably next week as we had some things switch up with the lineup and stuff. I'll be sending the flyer. We'll start pushing that or talking about that in the Jazz Festival coming up in September. Also, Wednesday, August 13th, there was the Stroke and Sip, which is basically our open mic. Respect Mike. She's been on the show before. She does own a studio and salon and stuff like that called Respect Your Crown, and she makes items for hair care and stuff like that. So her name is
Tasha.
Yeah. So
don't do that to me, all right?
But she's been a guest on the show.
Yeah.
She did the first and only ever hair and model show with poetry and art and stuff in Toledo. We did that a couple of years ago. So if you don't know her, You're more than welcome to come out. This is every second Wednesday at the Code, which is the spot in Toledo on the east side. And to give you the exact address of the Code, it is going to the flyer.
Oh, I thought you were asking me.
Well, no, because I've been there before. I just never really think of addresses and stuff once I've been to a place so many times. So it's like,
okay,
yeah, that spot down there around the corner or something like that. But 827 Star, it is a Black-owned business. At least Chuck, the person I know that runs the place, that manages the place and everything, is a great guy. They have food there. It is a full kitchen. There's a dance floor. There's a stage for performance. There's a back patio, which, sometimes it seems like every time we do our second Tuesday of the month, it wants to rain. So we don't really get to utilize the patio. That's why this one was a stroke and sip, but it was awesome seeing everybody come out and talk and do their stories and stuff like that. It was adult erotic edition. So yeah, if don't know what that is, you might want to look it up, but that was the type of poetry. It was great seeing everybody. Then Thursday, August 14th, we had Shavar. I believe I'm saying his right. Shavar Dante. Lunch at Levis Square downtown in that little area where the waterfall is, right across from Promenade Park. So they had that going on, which was live music and stuff like that, while they also had the food trucks out there and stuff. Then Friday, August 15th, the 11th annual Motown Dinner and Dance Cruise. That's always held by the Detroit Princess Cruise. And that boat system, that's the Netta Carter. She does a lot of the mental health fairs and stuff.
The Social Butterfly.
Social Butterfly. So she did that. That was her fundraiser. For the dancing cruise. I know they go out on the ship and there's some stuff going on.
Hey, don't say it like that. All right.
I don't know. I'm just not a go out type of person because I've been the out that you come to. So I'm slightly trying to shift and all that good stuff. So learning about all that stuff. Friday, August 15th was karaoke night at Toll House hosted by Tracy. If you don't know who Tracy Haynes is or Tracy the Rare Breed, you're about to hear more about him and what he has going on in the updates, because it's updates and stuff, you might have been to since the last time we were on air. Saturday, August 16th was the Fighting for Film Stunt Workshop. That was at Midwest Chair Elite Toledo. That is Film Toledo, the same people who are bringing you, which is upcoming. I'm not sure where all the little parties are, but in the updates part of the thing I'm getting to, you'll hear more about Film Toledo. So that is my updates of things that I knew about or were going on. I believe Scott, was this Scott Week?
Yeah, it was.
Scott Week too.
That's right.
The Scott High School was busy because they also had the Men's Health and Wellness Fair. There was Pride going on this weekend. That was all of downtown. I believe there was also a Mud Hens game with Holy Rollers.
No, I don't want to call them Holy Rollers because they may pull up on us out the park outlet, but I think it was a prayer at the park.
Prayer at the park.
Everybody wore white.
I saw some clips of that online.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So that was going on, and then also I want to give a shout out to Jared Boom the Bomb Frazier, who we had our 10th studio and networking party at the House of Rock downtown, right next door to Noor nightclub and everything. I believe I did see as I was going over there, Moses Paul, you the one baby person. So shout out to him and them. And the studio party was awesome, just like it was before. All vibes, all good time watching people literally listen to a beat and then each person come up with their own 8 to 16. So it could all be put on one track, just camaraderie, where you've been, how you've been, stuff like that. Artist libations, I could say, unless you saw some of those live videos, you won't see all of it. But we had chicken wings and some sandwiches, watermelon and some stuff. So it was a good time. Shout out to Boom. Shout out to Black Hollywood, King Black, and everybody else involved in making it awesome. Shayla Chanel was there early, and some artists who I kind of did not catch, but did catch. I caught your artistry, but a lot of people had recognized you from Auntie House. I'm not sure who you are, but you're in one of my photos that I posted on the page and stuff like that. So shout out to everybody that enjoyed this weekend. And going into this week, there's some pretty awesome stuff going on. If you're in the Toledo area and stuff like that, I'm going to run down my list real quick just to give you guys an insight of what's going on. This Friday, there is a free concert hosted by Tracy and the same people that are doing the concert Saturday. And there's been some confusion as I've seen online. Yes, it is a 2-day event. The R&B, strictly R&B Park Jam event. The first day, Friday, is free and open to the public. But you know what? These things cost money. It costs money to book artists. It costs money for security. It costs money for the permission for the city to use the park or whoever owns the park and all that stuff. A cleanup crew to do all that stuff. The advertisement, the radio shows, the tickets, the flyers, the everything is why you will have to pay to go see Drew Hill and all of the other features, Lance Gross and stuff like that, because we can give you some stuff for free, but not all of it for free. So tickets are $35. I've seen Tracy every single day on his page saying how he's delivering tickets. So shout out to that young man there.
That's right.
That's been out there putting in the work. All of the artists too. It's not just him, but I've seen artists that are on the show also doing the work. And that's something that makes events beautiful when it's not just on one person or on one group. If you're part of this show, you share it too. So tickets are 1 for $35, 2 for $60. I believe there's some still available. From the last time I checked, if you can't get to Tracy or one of the artists that might have tickets, Jack's Menswear, and as collaboration in our community and stuff, shout out to Toledo Federal Urban Credit Union for allowing you to pick up tickets there.
Oh, that's what's up.
Dorr Street, on their Monroe Street, because Dorr is still closed, but I believe you can use the ATM. But that location is closed. So if you pull up to the Monroe location and ask for tickets, unless they're sold out, make sure you get your ticket. Send somebody there with you. That is Saturday at 5 p.m., the Strictly R&B Jam. Last year, we were official sponsors.
That's right.
Of the Park Jam and stuff. One of the best $1,000 I ever spent out of the bank account, stuff like that. Also this Saturday is Small Business Saturday at Ottawa Park Trail. That is being held by, as I'm looking at my phone, Mike Williams is going to be there on sax. And that is a Danetta Carter event too. So that's part of the social butterfly.
Okay, Danetta.
That is 11 to 4 p.m. at Ottawa Park, Small Business Saturday, August 23rd. This Saturday at 11 a.m. is Resistance and Resilience Fair, which is going to be at the UAW Local 12 on Ashland, 2300 Ashland. I believe this is a free and open thing. A little bit biased myself. I am one of the speakers. I'll be doing that poem, Silently Facing the Crowd, which the last time we spoke, we had a riot in Toledo, which, we'll keep it a little, but it needs to be said.
Let's do it again, all right?
We're about to do it again. I don't think we're going to be rioting down Ashland, but,
okay, all right.
Pieces like that are things that were a big part of my career. As I move more into the trauma, recovery, and health part of my career, the activism pieces aren't as needed, but I remind people the other day, I keep a shiesty on at all times since 2020, just in case you need a little reminder of where I come from. As the young people call it.
Okay, all right. I was wondering what that was. Since I was born last night, I have no idea.
And 90s R&B Park Jam, it starts at 6. So there is a list. Go to the page. There is no outside food. There is no outside liquids. Make sure whatever baggage you're carrying, I believe there's the see-through policy on stuff like that. I talked to Tracy, make sure I can get my bag in, or I might have to jump on stage, do some sweeping with a broom, because I go with my bag everywhere. But that one is the one that's completely free. And that is all the things. So back to the film Toledo, there are some people, if you were in the group, if you were part of the film, which was formerly known as Stick Shift, as we now know it as Eeny Meeny, as at least all of us on the set knew it as Eeny Meeny, the movie that was part of the shooting at the Hollywood Casino, that is releasing on August 22nd. That is Friday, right?
I think so.
Yeah, so that is releasing on Friday.
That's coming up.
Yeah, so that is releasing on Friday. You can catch it on Hulu or Disney Plus, which, yes, that means all of us that were in the film, background and stuff like that are on the Disney short list of
Okay.
callbacks
All right.
and things like that, Sony and Fox and all of that stuff. So I look forward to seeing all of my coworkers, or crew members that were in there when we were slamming vehicles into the casinos. One of those wasn't actually scripted, and it was fun. If you were there that day of shooting, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And then I'll be able to take the little poker chip that I got from set and maybe put it up here or somewhere, because I do have a poker chip from the fight scene. So if you look at the fight scene, you'll probably see me there in my hat and my little brown jacket and stuff like that, giving some faces or whatever they cut me in the film. I know one of the scenes they did actually take the charms that I gave them on the last day of shooting, the stuff that I make, and they had one of their actors in one of the scenes where they almost get hit wear my charms.
All
so
right,
I've been looking for that in the movie too. And I believe unless somebody sends me something, that is all the events that I see for next week until we come back from the show. Do you have anything coming up for this weekend or that you might know of?
Oh, yeah. This week's edition of the Final Call newspaper features global weather calamities. And if you look at the news now, every day, it's something else. It's either a hurricane on the East Coast or fires on the West Coast. And I want to just get into this story that you can find this on in this week's edition of the Final Call newspaper. You'll see the brothers at the corners of Bancroft and Detroit. You'll find the papers in Mott Branch Library. On our way out, we're going to leave a stack here. Seaway, Bobby Howard's, Yummy's, Powell's, and a few other spots. But the article that I want to highlight is called Watch the Weather, Calamities, Disasters Impact the U.S. and Other Countries. It says that countries around the world are being hit with weather-related disasters causing severe damage and loss of life. Wildfires, torrential rains, excessive heat, mudslides, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions have struck all parts of the West. In the U.S., millions are under the alerts across the Midwest while fires forced evacuations in Colorado, volcanoes erupted in Japan and Indonesia, and extreme heat is still impacting Europe. Now, was it you that was in Japan?
Yep, I was in Japan.
Right.
I was also in Paris. I was also in Canada, which keeps at wildfires, which I know. I didn't see these many wildfires before I got there. And now it's been 2 years. Every other summer is like a wildfire in Canada.
Yeah. So pick up this week's edition of the Final Call. You can also find this article on finalcall.com, or you can get a digital description by logging on to store.finalcall.com and get your digital subscription of the Final Call. I think that's all I got for this week's with the Final Call newspaper, Black Men's Wellness Day, and some of the other things that's going on. So as we segue to wrap up our podcast for this week, we have something that's called 5 Minutes of Heat. And we're very unique and intentional on what we do and what we don't do and how we do the things that we do. And as we close out, we never close out by adjourning a meeting or having someone seconded or whatever. Well, we have creative expression. And one of the things that we do, we call it 5 Minutes of Heat, because that comes from the song 5 Minutes of Funk from Houdini. I'm going to look that up and see, when did that song come out? When did that rap come out? And we took it, kind of remixed it, and we have spoken word. If there was somebody at our meeting that was doing anything else, I think Julian read one of his manifestos. That was a whole half an hour. Like, all right, that's the last time you're going to do that. But for 5 Minutes of Heat today, you said silent faces in the crowd?
No, we're not reading that yet. Maybe next week.
Okay, all right.
When I come back, I'll be actually reading that on the 23rd at the UAW event. That has been literally, that's one of my retired performance pieces. So, and it was interesting when I performed it on May Day, before all that stuff. Some people that had been watching me for years, it was like, oh, you really him? I'm like, yeah, just because you catch me at open mics or readings or public events doesn't mean I ain't got paid shit in me.
That's right.
For my lack of a better words.
Okay, yes. I got you. All right, we can say that this once. All right, yeah. That's what's up. Hey, okay.
The reason why I'm the only poet for now and may ever be to ever perform or open for the Huntington Center is because of that stuff. The reason why they take me to DC and I'm in films and my voice and stuff is because I didn't get into this to get paid. I got into poetry and expression to express myself. But if you need me, again, Shikes to come out.
All right.
So today, I actually don't know. I was going to bring like one of my other previous books and do something like that. But I have about 85 poems in my phone right now at any given time, Shikesty. So I'm just going to do this little scroll right here and then see what we pop out on.
Okay, let's do it.
It could be anything. I'm going to give it a couple moments in my head. I'm doing the whole, what is it? The Jeopardy sound.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. So I'll go close my eyes as I'm continuing to scroll and see what pops out. Broken. There we go. So that is the piece that we are going to be doing today, published or written, because now it is published in, I believe, volume 2 of the Childhood Trauma series. By the dates of it is 2024. So yeah, what is it? January 15th, 2024 at 1:42 p.m.
All right.
16,009 characters. So it's been a minute. I can't remember exactly what I said, but I'm about to find out. So without further ado, let's begin. Peace. Broken. Still alive, but barely living. I've conquered all the things that traumatized me growing up. Taught myself to become prosperous, engaging, productive, self-made in every way that I was told would make me happy. Learned how to engage with politicians, activists, union workers, community resource management leaders, poets, authors, illustrators, actors, directors, producers, musicians, builders, farmers, and I never turned a blind eye to places I had to dig myself out of. Continuing to look down to see if there's someone still there that needs a way out. Barely, still alive, but barely living. In the process of doing all these things, I lost part of my humanity, friends, family, in some ways the ability to dream bigger because my reality has become what most dream of. I don't know how to sit still anymore. Listen without trying to find a solution. So instead of saying it's going to be okay, I interrupt the conversation by saying there's another way. Invalidating the person who's trying to pour out to me by telling them to fix it. I stopped creating unattainable goals and just broke barriers wherever I go, making it look like I have it all together. But really, some days I just feel dead inside. There's no soft spots in my life, no respite where I can just say this hurts and I'm not okay, because I have become the one that fixes all of the problems, the one who's always willing to smile, the first one to call, to text, to pull up, to listen, to offer a hug, and spend their lives to make sure your tears aren't wasted on empty ears. But still alive, but barely living. So what do I do now when I just want to be normal? Go back to being ignorant of the needs of the world and blissful just to wake up with nothing to do that day. I create. So hopefully these feelings of unfamiliar emotions don't consume me and leave me spiraling into a pit that no one knows about. Because I'm living all of the dreams they told me I would never achieve to make my reality. In peace.
And as always, we snap our fingers. All right. I want to thank you, Jody, for making this happen today, because most every week we have someone here. And this week we had our brother Omar Gent from freeourbrothers.com. He was going to log in virtually, but we had some
technical difficulties.
And we, be it the will of the universe, we'll have him back next week for Black August. But anyway, as always,
first, because as looking at the title and coming out of the midst of performing and stuff, I want to shout out Darius Simpson, who is a good friend of mine and a longtime friend of us in the organization. He is the inspiration from a conversation and stuff that we had for that poem. And that is in volume 2, and it is dedicated to him, like Brother Washington has some mentions in that. If you are around me and anywhere in this lifetime that I exist, I will make you into art. Just forewarning.
All right. And as always, all lives can't matter until Black lives matter. And Black lives can't matter until all Black lives matter. Justice or else?
Yeah.
Peace.